Right, so we're 3 months in with the Toyota Corolla Touring Sports Trek Edition, and I think I've had enough time with the car to kind of pick out a few things that I like and don't like about it. And I think for this month's video I'll kick off with the bad news and perhaps point out a few of the things that I'm not so keen on, and then we can return next month with a slightly more upbeat assessment of the things that I do like. So let's start with one of the fairly fundamental things. I'm not a massive fan of the white paint. It just looks a bit too much like an Uber for my tastes, but that's a personal thing. You can of course have it in different colours, and that's relatively easy to solve from the start. What else don't I like? Well, this power operated boot lid. Now I can see the point on maybe a tall SUV. It's a convenience function for shorter drivers who perhaps can't reach the boot lid, but on a low slung estate car like this, it's just, well, frankly, it's a bit of a pain. It's just so slow in operation, and it really winds me up. You know, I could have slammed the boot lid and be on my way by that point, but instead I have to stand here and watch it open and shut like that. So that really winds me up. What else do I not like? Well, every time my wife drives the car, she has to put the seat up, and then every time I drive it, I have to put it down, and that means I have to use this manual adjuster, and it takes forever to get the seat. So this is how long it takes for the seat to go from its highest position to its lowest position. And I have to go through that rigmarole every time I get in the car when my wife's been driving it, and that really winds me up. So a memory function powered seats would be nice. Thank you very much. What else don't I like? Well, this kind of fake wood trim is a little bit naff. Not a huge fan of that. Let's get into the car, point out a few things in here. So perhaps one of the major things is the infotainment system, which is pretty prominent in the car on this big touchscreen in the middle of the car, and it's fine for functionality. It's got all the stuff that you'd want on it. It's got navigation, it's got Bluetooth, DAB, it's got all the stuff that you would want. But I think in this day and age, tech is obviously a really fast moving area in cars these days, and it doesn't take long for stuff to look a little bit outdated, especially when you compare it with the kind of flasher systems particularly from the VW group. So in Volkswagens, Seats, Skodas, Audis, all those kind of cars, they do their tech really well. I was in a Renault Megane recently, a new updated version of that, and it's had this big kind of portrait size screen in it. That was an estate as well, so a comparable car with this, and it just looked flasher, and it's basic stuff. It's just the kind of graphics and things like that, and as I say, it works fine, but it just doesn't look that good, and it's your major kind of interaction with the car. So you can use CarPlay and Android Auto with it, so that does help matters a little bit. You can get your flasher graphics on there. What else don't I like? Well, this comes down to the driving experience, and this centres on the gearbox here. Now, anyone who's driven any Toyota hybrids will be aware that they use a form of CVT gearbox, as it's known, and the way that the engine revs here on the rev counter and the noise of the engine, they're kind of out of kilter with the progress the car makes, and it's fine when you're just pootling around, very refined in kind of town driving and stuff, but if you're looking to accelerate or go up a hill or something like that, it just means that the engine's screaming, and it's just not very nice to use really, or certainly not if you have any interest in your driving whatsoever. It's also got shift paddles on here, which is absolutely meaningless really, given one, how the gearbox behaves, and two, what the car's about really, so I don't really see the point of them. So there we go. That, as I say, is the bad news when it comes to this car. I will return next time with the stuff that I do like, and don't worry, there are plenty of positive things about this car which I do enjoy, and I will look forward to sharing those with you next time.